Hi, this is Gregor Tresher and you're watching the RRP TV. Yeah, so I was living like in a small town an hour south from Frankfurt, like in the 80s and early 90s. And I discovered going out in Frankfurt to the clubs back then I went to the Omen first time in 1992. And so it was the Omen, Dorian Gray and XS, which were the clubs everybody went to. And yeah, it was kind of an inspiring time, time in music and in electronic music in general. And back then I would say Frankfurt was, with Berlin, one of the two meccas of electronic music in Germany. Everything was brand new, that was the thing, you never heard these sounds before, and everybody felt like you were in the middle of like a music revolution happening, really. And in hindsight, that's what it was, I mean, that's when electronic music and techno really became this mass phenomenon. But back then it was still a niche and a very underground kind of culture. And I mean, from then the numbers were growing and growing and growing, and in the late 90s it was everywhere, But like in 92, 93, you felt like you were in a very small scene and you knew everybody, and the music was so brand new and so exciting, and I think that was the main point of it. I was a DJ first, so when I started to go to clubs in like 93, I pretty quickly wanted to become a DJ as well. So I started to be a bedroom DJ and started to buy vinyl and get a setup at home and try to get my mixing together. But I only started making music, techno music, maybe in 97, 98. So friends of mine had like this small basement studio, and so I could play around with the instruments there and learn how to do stuff. And back then, basically, all you needed to have was like an Atari or like a computer and a sequencer software and maybe one synth and a sampler, and then you made music. And that's how many of those early records were made, just with very little equipment, basically. And I still think that's, I mean, a good idea is the most important thing. You can make the most amazing music on the cheapest equipment, still, I think. Basically, I went to Delirium here in Frankfurt, and also now Overdrive Records in Mainz. Those were the two record shops I used to go. Obviously, Hardwax was there already, but I didn't travel to Berlin to buy records back then. But you had those quite few shops that everybody went to, and those were the ones. Yeah, well, I mean, I saw him DJ when the first time I went into the Omen in 1992, Sven was playing, and it was like an initial point for me, for my musical life, because it started that I wanted to become a DJ myself, and that I wanted to participate in this electronic music thing, So that was really like the ignition for me at all, and of all. And then later on, I became like a raver, and I went to clubs and I went to see him play, and he's still one of my favorite DJs. And he started to play my records like in 2004, 2005. I had this string of releases that he played on heavy rotation, like in every set he hammered those tracks, and that really gave me a big push back then. So that's when I actually got the chance to play internationally, and get gigs and get bookings. So he played a major role in how my career advanced, And then I don't know how it happened. I think I sent a demo at some point or something, And then me and the Cocoon guys got to know each other, and and from then it went on to this long-going collaboration, Well, I did have some musical training, but I don't think it really resonates in my music nowadays. I played some instruments I got forced to play some instruments when I was a kid by my parents, which I always hated, So, but obviously it gave me a basic musical training, I guess. But speaking about the melodies and the stuff I like in my own music, I think it comes from my heritage of like 80s synth pop music, and when I was a kid, the stuff I listened to, and that still resonates with me, And it's just nothing I actually plan to do. That's the music I make, because yeah, that's what comes out of me, I guess. I do like other styles of music as well. It's just the music I make is kind of this thing, yeah. And I try to develop it, of course, but well, I guess that people always can, or I hope that people would be able to recognize a track of mine when they hear it. I think it's most of the stuff you listen to when you're a teenager, you know, when you grow up and you build your music, or you build your musical socialization in a way, you know. So I'd say Depeche Mode is a big thing for me. The Cure is a big thing for me. A lot of 80s music, like, I don't know, New Order, Joy Division, all this kind of stuff, Anne Clark, Heaven 17, this stuff, and then obviously also the early techno stuff. And when we're talking about Frankfurt, Frankfurt was always a very melodic kind of city. I mean, the music here was called trance before there was trance, you know. So and it's a very different definition of trance as it was here in the 90s, you know. It was just basically melodic techno. But I mean, I like dark music as well, and I like repetitive music as well. It's not that I need like a sweet melody in it or something. I just like a basic atmosphere that could be in whatever direction, you know. Well, we've been knowing each other for a long time. We knew each other for a long time. We've seen each other on the road in everywhere, you know. And I don't really. How did this happen? You know, I think we've been chatting, you know. And then at some point, yeah, why don't we do something together? And then we made this release on Truesoul that came out at the beginning of this year, just a 2-tracker. And we were kind of stunned how fast it worked, you know, because we had this kind of workflow where Igor would make a basic melodic thing, then I would put my stuff on it, and then Dan would finish it, and it worked perfectly. So we basically made a track a day in a way, you know, or a track in 2 days. And all of a sudden we said, wow, we have like 5 or 6 tracks now. Why not just finish this as an album, you know? And that's what we did. And yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. We keep making music together. We're actually working on new music now because the workflow just feels right, and we both we all three share a different similar kind of sound, I guess. I thought I'm not really good at collaborating with people because I rarely do it, you know. I've been producing people, but I rarely do collaborations because I often felt that well, it's hard to describe, but you know, you do something and it shouldn't be like a compromise. It should be better than something you do on your own. If you do music with someone and when it's done, you think, well, I would have liked it more if I would have done it alone, then there's no point in collaborating, you know. But when it feels like, wow, this is something that's only happened because we do this together, then it makes sense. And I have this with Petar Dundov, who I make music with for over 10 years now. And now with Pick and Dan, it might be a new kind of collaboration that we continue to do. I think it's still there, and you know, I always say this for example, when I'm DJing, I'm always hoping that there's a kid in there who has this ignition night for him that night when I'm playing, you know, because if this isn't the approach, then why continue at all, you know? So I think the basic fascination is still there and can still be, experienced by people. And I sometimes have it, you know. Sometimes you have a night and you're in the club and you think, wow, this is the best, you know. And of course, it happens rarely, but when it does, it just feels so right, you know. And I really hope that people get to have these experiences on the dance floor. Wow, that's a tough one. Well, I'd say Robert Smith from The Cure, because I'm such a big fan. I would love to do that. Apart from that, Martin Gore from Depeche Mode. I luckily had the chance to do a remix for them once, which was a huge thing for me. And also I've just been in the studio with Sven Fate, so sometimes not good things happen, you know, and there's music to come soon. So, yeah. It's not so secret anymore. So there's a new Sven's Fate single soon to be released, and there's more music to come after that. But that's all I can say for now.